All right, let's just dive right in. We're about to talk about cars that exist on a whole other level of reality. I mean, these aren't just for getting from point A to point B. No, they're basically rolling monuments to what humans can engineer, design, and yeah, sometimes they're about pure, unapologetic excess.
It's a really great question to start with, isn't it? What is it that takes something from just being really, really good to being a true work of art? Something that people will talk about for generations. And that's exactly the world we're exploring today. We're stepping into that place where a car stops being just a car and becomes fine art. And, well, the price tag definitely reflects a level of performance and craftsmanship that is just almost impossible to wrap your head around.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the machines built for pure, unadulterated speed. We're calling that the Hypercar Elite. Then we'll get into how one single brand, Bugatti, just completely dominates this list. After that, we're going to switch gears completely and talk about the art of coach building, where it's all about personalization. And then we'll wrap it all up by asking, what do these incredible machines actually represent? Okay, first up, the speed demons. These are the hypercars, the absolute top of the food chain in the automotive world, where million-dollar price tags and physics-defying numbers are, well, they're just the cost of entry. These cars are born from one single obsession, to be the fastest, most aerodynamic things on four wheels. Period.
And we're kicking things off with a car that honestly looks like it should be on an aircraft carrier, not a road. This is the Lamborghini Veneno Roadster. It was built to celebrate the brand's 50th anniversary, and believe me, they did not hold back. The design is straight out of aeronautics, all razor-sharp lines and angles built for one purpose, to slice through the air.
The 750 horsepower V12 engine is already incredible, But the real story here, the thing that makes this car legendary, is the exclusivity. They only made nine of these roadsters in the entire world. That's what takes it from being just an amazing car to being a collector's ultimate prize. It's a statement piece that very, very few people will ever even see.
So while Lamborghini was celebrating a birthday, the Swedish wizards over at Koenigsegg were on a singular mission. Their car, the Jesko Absolute, was designed with just one thing in mind: to be the fastest car they have ever built and to absolutely demolish the 300-mile-per-hour barrier. The numbers on this thing are they're staggering. I mean, 1,600 horsepower is basically unbelievable. But look at that drag coefficient, 0.278. To put that in simple terms, this car is ridiculously slippery. It's designed to just pierce through the air with almost no resistance. They actually gave up some cornering grip just for that pure straight-line speed. It's less of a car and more of a land-based rocket ship.
Now for something with a slightly different flavor. The Pagani Huayra Codalunga, which, by the way, literally translates to long tail, is where you see that top-tier performance meet a real sense of automotive nostalgia. This car was actually born from the request of two collectors, and it's a direct callback to those super sleek long-tail race cars from the 1960s.
And this just perfectly shows what Pagani is all about. Of course, it's got an 829 horsepower V12 from Mercedes-AMG, it's wildly fast, but the real focus here is on the elegance, the bespoke craftsmanship. With only 5 of these ever made, it's this perfect marriage of modern hypercar power with a timeless, almost artistic design.
Okay, we have to talk about Bugatti. I mean, you can't have a list of the world's most expensive cars without them. And what's so fascinating is how they've taken their legendary 8-liter W16 engine, which is basically 2 V8s smashed together, it's a monster, and used it as the heart for 3 completely different multi-million-dollar philosophies. So first, you've got the Divo. Now, most Bugattis are famous for their insane top speeds, right? But the Divo was built for the corners. It's lighter, it's more agile, and it has this massive rear wing that creates an enormous amount of downforce, just sticking it to the track. This is the Bugatti for people who care more about agility than just raw straight-line speed.
Then there's the Centodieci. This car is all about paying homage to their own history. It's a modern reimagining of a 90s icon, the Bugatti EB110. They took that W16 engine and wrapped it in a body that is a clear tribute to its ancestor. I mean, right down to those 5 little diamond-shaped air intakes. It's literally a bridge between Bugatti's past and its future. And then we arrive at the absolute pinnacle. La Voiture Noire, the black car. This isn't just a car. Bugatti themselves describe it as automotive haute couture. It's a one-of-one masterpiece, inspired by the mythical, long-lost Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic. This is the peak of Bugatti's design, and more importantly, its exclusivity.
So when you see them laid out like this, side by side, their strategy becomes so clear. It's the same monster engine at the core, but it's applied to three totally different ideas. It's a genius business model, right? They've created these tiers of exclusivity. You've got 40 Divos for agility, just 10 Santadicis for the heritage buffs, and only one La Voiture Noire for ultimate rarity. And, as you can see, the price just skyrockets at every step.
And this is where our whole story takes a huge turn. We've been looking at cars built for the racetrack, for the stopwatch, for the spec sheet, but what happens when the goal completely shifts away from performance numbers and moves toward creating a totally unique, deeply personal experience?
Welcome to the world of modern coach building, which has been brought back in a huge way by Rolls-Royce. This is the old school practice of creating a completely bespoke car body on an existing platform for one specific client. Think of it like getting a custom-tailored suit, but on an infinitely more complex and expensive scale. And our first example is the absolutely breathtaking Rolls-Royce Boattail. They only ever made 3, and this car is directly inspired by the pure elegance of J-Class yachts. But it's the back of the car that is just, it's truly unbelievable. That's not a trunk. They call it a hosting suite.
Yeah, so the rear deck opens up in this graceful butterfly motion to reveal cocktail tables, a parasol, and a double champagne refrigerator that was specifically designed to chill the owner's favorite vintage to the exact right temperature. At around $28 million, this is less a car and more of a moving venue for an unforgettable party.
And that finally brings us to the most expensive new car in the world, the Rolls-Royce La Rose Noire Droptail. It's inspired by the black Baccara rose, which happens to be a flower loved by the matriarch of the family who commissioned it. So this car, it's a deeply personal symbol of love, and it's a showcase of craftsmanship that is almost beyond belief. Look, to even begin to understand the level of detail here, just think about the paint. It's called True Love. And it's not just one color. It's a secret base coat followed by 5 layers of clear lacquer, and each of those 5 layers is tinted with a slightly different shade of red. This crazy complex process took a team of specialists over 150 attempts to perfect. So what does this number mean? 1603. Well, that is the number of individual, hand-finished, hand-placed pieces of black sycamore wood that make up the interior artwork. This one single element, which is meant to look like falling rose petals, took them nearly 2 years just to develop, and then 9 solid months of non-stop work to actually create and assemble.
So what a journey, right? We've gone from cars built to completely dominate a racetrack to cars that are literally built to host a champagne picnic. We've seen raw, brutal, jaw-dropping speed, and we've seen delicate, painstaking artistry that took years to complete. And this really gets to the core of it all. At the absolute tippy top of the automotive world, you really have these two competing ideas, the relentless, never-ending search for better performance numbers and the equally relentless search for a unique personal soul.
And this is the question you just have to ask, right? When a car costs $30 million, is it truly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in engineering and art? Or is it simply the ultimate, most extreme expression of wealth and excess?
You know, maybe the real answer is that they're both. They are simultaneously the pinnacle of innovation and monuments to excess. But no matter how you look at it, they show us the absolute extreme of human creativity and ambition, and they are forever pushing the limits of what is truly possible on 4 wheels.